If you love big worlds and even bigger firepower, this list is going to be your thing. These are 10 open-world FPS games that still deliver incredible moments. We're not putting these in any order, just showing off the standouts. Let's get into it.
The cult grab a guy down by the docks. You help him out, and maybe he'd be willing to pick up a gun and return the favor.
Far Cry 5 drops you in the middle of Montana, where the cult has turned peaceful towns into controlled pockets of resistance. The opening moments push you straight into chaos as your team is separated and the locals rely on you to help turn the tide. The world feels unsettled with abandoned farms dotted between wooded valleys, and you uncover more stories from residents who never stopped fighting even when the odds turned bleak. This gives the county a strong sense of push and pull as you slowly reconnect people who want their home back. As an open-world FPS, Far Cry 5 keeps the action moving with constant roadside fights, unpredictable wildlife attacks, and outposts that can be tackled from any direction. Gunplay has a strong punch, and the freedom to mix assaults with stealth keeps encounters flexible. Companions bring useful support, while vehicles help you cut through hostile zones to trigger new events on the fly. The map stays active with side paths popping up naturally, which gives the whole journey a lively flow. And there's a lot here to dive into. Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl drops you into the zone with almost no comfort, and that becomes the whole appeal. The open world is harsh and unpredictable, with factions, mutants, and anomalies waiting to punish bad choices from the jump you play as Skeef, who gets pulled into a long hunt for answers while the world keeps pushing back at every step. What makes it work is how much atmosphere the game builds with storms rolling in, nights that feel unsafe, and quiet moments around campfires. Even with the rough edges in performance, the world itself keeps pulling you forward. Once you settle into the loop of scavenging, managing your pack, and heading off on long treks across the zone, it becomes an FPS that rewards patience more than aggression. Combat can swing from tense to uneven thanks to odd enemy behavior, but the gunplay hits hard enough to make every fight matter. There is no easy fast travel, so you earn every mile you walk. It is demanding, punishing, and messy in places. Yet Stalker 2 delivers an open-world shooter experience that feels different from anything else on this list because of how raw and unforgiving it is. There's something instantly funny and bleak about how The Outer Worlds 2 throws you into Arcadia, a place where every planet feels like a business pitch gone wrong. The story spends more time on political maneuvering and competing ideologies, which makes the whole adventure feel more grounded. Companions help shape the world as you go, adding humor and tension to almost every decision. When the action picks up, the game shows how much it has tightened its formula. Gunplay feels cleaner, mobility gives fights some extra spark, and the new flaws hit you at the right moments to keep builds interesting. Exploration moves smoothly through its handful of worlds, each stacked with quests, odd encounters, and gear that pushes you to try new approaches. It is a strong step forward from the first game in all the ways that matter. Rage 2. This game hits like a sledgehammer, turning the post-apocalypse into a heavy metal album cover. You play as the last ranger in a world where everything tries to kill you, and the story is an excuse to shuttle you between explosions. The narrative tries to balance a grim revenge plot with a goofy tone that feels like a violent cartoon. It misses emotional beats because it is too busy throwing wild aesthetics in your face. But you aren't here for drama. You are here because the world is a chaotic playground begging to be smashed. When the shooting starts, it transforms into one of the most satisfying experiences you can have with a controller. It flows like water, encouraging you to chain dashes and overdrive modes to wipe out squads without pausing. The variety is staggering, even if map activities feel copy-paste after a while. Some might complain that the story is short, or characters forgettable, and they aren't wrong. But when a game nails the combat this hard, it is easy to forgive the rough edges. It is adrenaline weaponized. Fallout 4. If you want a game that feels like endless content, this is the one. Jumping into this world feels super cozy if you played the old ones, but now everything looks way better. The Commonwealth is full of life, and the weather system actually makes things intense when a radiation storm hits. The story goes from a simple rescue mission to a deep faction war where your choices actually change things. The best part is just wandering around and finding weird stuff, like a school filled with pink ghouls. The side quests are honestly better than the main plot half the time. It is a game that respects your time by giving you cool stuff constantly. Combat is way smoother now, and you can actually aim down sights without it feeling clunky. The crafting system lets you make some cracked weapons if you have enough materials. Power armor is a total game changer because you have to manage fuel, making it feel like a limited resource for big fights. The building mechanics can be a bit janky, but the core loop of fighting and looting is perfect. You will easily sink hundreds of hours into this without realizing it. Dying Light the Beast. If you thought the second game was floaty, this brings the heat back to basics. Dropping Kyle Crane into a spooky forest changes the mood, making it feel more like survival horror than an action RPG. The new Beast mode is a cool, get-out-of-jail card to rip enemies apart, but you aren't overpowered. In fact, you feel weaker than Aiden because stamina drains fast and weapons break, so every fight is a struggle. The soundtrack is also top tier, shifting from action beats to straight-up horror vibes that get stuck in your head. Gameplay takes a step back to basics by limiting your movement just enough to make the world feel dangerous again. You cannot just fly over problems anymore, so you have to engage with the parkour mechanics to survive. Melee combat is the star of the show with weapons that have real weight and impact behind every swing. You will find yourself counting your hits because stamina is strict and running out means death. The night cycle is terrifying with double experience rewards tempting you to risk it all. It is an intense experience that rewards skill and patience instead of just handing you the win. Metro Exodus. This game is a total mood, proving that survival horror can work in open spaces just as well as in dark tunnels. The journey takes Artyom and his crew out of Moscow on a cross-country trip that spans an entire year, showing off some of the best-looking environments in gaming. The pacing is deliberate, asking you to slow down and scavenge every corner of the map for resources because you will run out of ammo fast. The immersion is next level, thanks to a minimal HUD where you have to physically look at your wrist to check the compass. It feels grounded and gritty in a way most shooters just aren't. When the shooting starts, it feels heavy and impactful. You can mod your guns on the fly using a backpack, swapping scopes and barrels to fit the situation, which is such a cool feature. Stealth is viable but tricky because enemies will investigate broken lights, so you have to be careful. The interactions on the train are surprisingly wholesome, letting you hang out with your wife and crew to break up the tension of the missions. While the silent main character is kind of a meme at this point, the world building and detailed level design make this a must-play for anyone who likes immersive sims. Cyberpunk 2077. This game drops you into Night City, and honestly, it is one of the best-looking maps ever made. You play as V, a merc with the ghost of a rock star named Johnny Silverhand stuck in your head, played by Keanu Reeves. The main story is surprisingly short, but that doesn't matter because the side content is where the real magic happens. Your choices actually change the world and the ending, making it feel super personal. It is buggy as heck though, with glitches messing up animations and immersion, but the writing is so good you kind of forgive it. It is a total vibe despite the jank. This is a deep RPG disguised as a shooter. You can build your character however you want using attributes and perks that level up as you use them. Combat lets you go loud with iconic weapons, like a talking pistol, or play stealthy with quick hacks that fry enemy brains. The level design is a playground, letting you rip open doors or sneak through vents depending on your stats. Driving feels solid with no load screens, and the soundtrack is an absolute banger that pumps you up during fights. It is a flexible sandbox that rewards you for experimenting. Far Cry 3. This game is a masterclass in open-world chaos, taking you to a tropical paradise called Rook Island that is run by literal psychopaths. You play as Jason Brody, a rich kid who starts off terrified of everything, but slowly transforms into a killing machine to save his friends. The villain, Voss, is legendary for a reason. His definition of insanity speech is still iconic and sets the tone perfectly. The story actually makes you question your own morals as you watch Jason go from a scared tourist to someone who enjoys the slaughter. It is not just about shooting. You have to hunt animals to craft gear, which feels super rewarding. The map is huge and full of secrets, like World War II letters that flesh out the history. The gameplay is the definition of a sandbox playground. You can take down outposts however you want, whether that is sniping from a hill, going full stealth with a knife, or letting a tiger out of a cage to do the work for you. Fire physics are back and just as chaotic as before, letting you burn entire fields with Molotovs. Unlocking skills feels impactful, letting you chain takedowns or slide shoot like an action hero. Multiplayer and co-op are kind of mid compared to the single player, feeling a bit tacked on, but the map editor is a cool addition for creative players. It is an intense, violent trip that redefined the genre. Ghost Recon Wildlands. This game is absolutely massive, featuring a map that rivals MMOs in sheer scale. You are dropped into Bolivia to take down the Santa Blanca cartel, and the world is packed with everything from dense jungles to salt flats. The freedom to approach objectives however you want is the real MVP here. Want to snipe from a mountain? Go for it. Want to crash a helicopter into the base? Also a valid strategy. The vehicle controls are a bit janky, feeling like you are driving on ice half the time, and the mission structure can get super repetitive after the first few provinces. But honestly, the sandbox fun outweighs the grind if you are creative enough to make your own chaos. Solo play is functional thanks to AI teammates who can revive you and pull off impossible shots. But co-op is the real way to play. Human teammates are less reliable, but way more fun, allowing for complex strategies like using air support while a ground team rams a convoy. The progression system is simple, letting you max out skills easily, and the gunsmith feature is top tier for gearheads. It is a flawed gem that relies on you making your own fun, but with the right crew, it is an absolute blast to clear out bases and cause mayhem. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. Don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when I upload new content. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And check out these other videos you might like. See you in the next one.